imagine a situation where there is a destination, and that destination is Dubai, and they are flights from Lusaka, Lilongwe, and of course Maputo, and maybe some other town also. The 4 aircraft, so they are flying towards Dubai. This one is carrying 20 passengers, and the other one is carrying 50 passengers, the other one 15 passengers, and so on and so forth. Then there is another situation where there is only one flight, one aircraft that is carrying 200 passengers. It means the passengers that are being transported by this aircraft are more than those that would have been transported by those before. Now, these two sets, a set of 4 aircraft is going towards that direction, and this other aircraft also going in that direction. Between these two sets, which one is going to emit the most when it comes to the carbon of small fumes and all? Between these two sets, which one is going to emit the most? Is this first stage? Why? Because there are 4 aircraft involved. So to reduce that one, then they will say, guys, why can't we just combine, take our passengers and put them in this one single plane, so that at least we reduce these emissions. So with this example we are trying to relate, what we are trying to look at is that with the coming of hub and spoke system is like it provides a platform for the combination or for the consolidation of whether the shipment or the passengers into a single carrier, so that we reduce the emissions that would have been produced by 3 or 4 or more aircraft, yet they are going towards that same direction. So in this case, we are saying the carbon footprint is at least reduced significantly. So that's another benefit of this kind of a system. Have we got that one? Now, there is another benefit, and we call it consistency in pricing. Consistency in pricing. Welcome, Eunice.
Thank you.
Though you are late, but you're not too late. I'm also late, we are all late. So there is always consistency in pricing. That is, when those carriers are charging their customers, there's always this consistency with this kind of a system. We are continuing from where we stopped yesterday, and what we are discussing now is hub and spoke system in air transportation. There can be a number of systems that are used, but one of it, and that is more prominent and economical, is hub and spoke system. So that's what we are discussing here. And of course, we are trying to look at the benefits of having such a system in that industry or aviation industry. But now, when we are looking at this air transportation, we are saying we have a number of facilities that we use in this kind of transportation. When we were introducing this multimodal transportation, we at least looked at some of those facilities. We said there is the use of aircraft, and of course there is the use of drones. But now we are more concerned with the use of aircraft. Why? Because this is the one that is significantly used when it comes to international trade or supply chain. So probably that's the reason why we are concentrating more on this one. Now, when we are looking at the aircraft now, we find that there are different kinds of aircraft. But amongst those different kinds of aircraft that are always in use, we can categorize them into 2 categories, so that at least it becomes easier for us. So let us look at those 2 categories, that are cargo aircraft and passenger aircraft, and we look at the differences that exist between these 2 kinds of aircraft. Actually, interestingly, the major difference between the 2, or the fundamental difference between the 2, is what they carry or what they transport. So only on that one then we can tell that this is cargo aircraft, this is the passenger aircraft. Why? Because the cargo aircraft transport cargo, or mainly transport cargo, whereas the passenger aircraft basically transport passengers. However, the passenger aircraft, it's not that since we are saying it is a passenger aircraft and it is there to transport passengers, then it doesn't carry cargo. That's not it also. At least it also does this. That's why, I mean, when you're traveling, you are traveling elsewhere, you carry with you your luggage and everything. That is cargo, right? And when you get there by the airport, the cargo is always placed in special compartments or maybe special places in an aircraft. I think it is beneath the seat or something. So it's like when you, as passengers, when you're sitting, you always sit on top of the cargo. So passenger aircraft can still carry cargo, but what matters is the amount of cargo or the volumes of cargo that can be carried by the passenger aircraft. But a message to take home here is there are those major categories. Now, while passenger planes predominantly fly travelers with minimal luggage stored in the hold, cargo planes are completely kitted out for transport of goods only. So cargo aircraft, we can say they are a bit selfish in the sense that they are only specifically for cargo. And actually, their features, the way they are constructed, the way they are designed, they are purely designed to carry cargo. Probably except the crew or those people responsible for manning that aircraft. So because the people are not cargo, and up until they die, then they become cargo. But those are the only people that are allowed in there. Probably there are some security personnel to handle whatever is there, fine and good. But those are not passengers, they are part of the crew. So these ones, they only carry cargo, whereas the passenger ones, they can even carry cargo, but at a minimum size. Now, one thing that you should take note of regarding the cargo aircraft is that most of them, they do not have seats. Instead, they always have an empty hollow or empty garage where that empty vessel, we call it a vessel, which one can find it can be manipulated to carry different kinds of cargo, or it can be adjusted in any way. It's either they can put some compartments, they can put some demarcations, it's either they can put something similar to shelves, not actual shelves as that. So it can be manipulated depending on the kind of cargo that is to be transported inside this kind of a facility. So, typically, the floor of such an aircraft cabin will be complete with rollers and latches to hold down crates, containers, or whatever. There are some rollers or latches, kabinabuti zimabuku, kabinabuti zingwe, kabinabuti zimene magira zikushika chikazikiki. So the floor of that aircraft normally it has those features that will help the goods to be held tight. Otherwise, failure which then the goods cannot be stable. And probably as the aircraft is moving, it is maneuvering, probably it can land into an accident. Why? Because those goods will be moving back and forth, side by side, shaking the aircraft in the process. At the end of the day, probably causing it to crash. So that's why there are those stuff to make sure that the goods are held. And what's more, these cargo aircraft do not have windows, like the windows that we see here. That's why they're just like containers, except where the crew are based. There are those areas the windows are there. But generally, this one doesn't have the window. Of course, we cannot completely say they are always without windows. They are also, this is what we call emergency exits. Those emergency exits, they are always there, of course. And of course, a large loading door for the goods. Now, let's look at some of the differences as they are coming in. Of course, while we know that cargo planes and passenger planes are different, there are some similarities also. This is the reason why a lot of passenger but then can be turned into cargo aircraft. Now this is interesting. They can modify it. Those that were previously cargo aircraft can be, those that were previously passenger aircraft can be turned into cargo aircraft. So it means, apart from those features that make them different, but there are some other similarities that are also there. Probably they will just remove the seats and some other features that were specifically designed to support the passengers. Probably those ones can be removed, but still the structure can still be used and to do some other things. Now, why can this be the case? This is an aircraft that was designed to transport to transport passengers, that's all. But now, after some time, they say, no, I think this one we can use it as a cargo aircraft. Why should this be the case? The reason can be that of extending its lifespan of that particular machine. Why? Because the machine, the structure, which is the body, the engines and all, can still be perfect. But some other features that were fitted in there to support passengers or passenger comfort, probably they have reached, they have gone beyond their lifespan. They are in a dilapidated state whereby the passengers cannot even enjoy the comfort of the flight at all. Yet the structure and its technical aspects are all intact, they are all okay. So, should we dump it? Should we use it as a scrap? No. Why can't we put it to a different use so it can be transformed into a cargo aircraft? This one becomes an advantage to the airline because now it is still maximizing its investment to the freight. Instead of saying, no, let us buy new ones, since this one has gone past its lifespan, when it comes to carrying passengers, let us dump it and get another one. But they are still maximizing their initial investment by still making use of this one. So, of course, for those that are into this industry, engineers and all, probably they know better how best they can do that transformation. Because for some of us, probably we can just take a grinder and start cutting the seats and everything, and say now this one is ready for use as a cargo aircraft. But that is not the case. There must be some modifications in. Now, let us look at some of the types of aircraft utilized for cargo transportation, or types of aircraft utilized for air cargo. Cargo companies fly their cargo on various aircraft. So, the types of aircraft utilized for air cargo can range from wide-body freighters to small body aircraft, or in other words, these are called feeders. So, wide-body freighters. What are these wide-body freighters? These are probably one of the largest cargo aircraft that are always in use. What happens in this one? This one, they accommodate containerized and palletized freight on the upper and the lower deck. So they have an upper deck and of course lower deck within their body, just like that. So there is down there, we call it a belly, that is the belly, the lower compartment of it. They can always load the stuff in there, and of course even higher above that lower deck they can also load. So palletized stuff, of course containerized stuff can always go in there. We might have seen some of those aircraft probably in movies where they carry those big containers, they push those containers inside. Of course they push motor vehicles. At times even those heavy military vehicles, we have seen them being taken into those aircraft. Those are the wide-body aircraft that here we are referring to. Now, these wide-body freighters or wide-body aircraft normally operate in major airports, in major metropolitan areas. So we might never have seen them probably here in these our small airports. They always operate in those larger airports, in large cities or more metropolitan areas. Though they operate in those big airports, of course in those major cities, but still more, they can still be used in short domestic and transoceanic international routes, those large aircraft. I hear, of course, the social media has a lot of stuff. I've been reading that there are people who are building an air hotel or something like this. I think you might have heard of that. Of course, it's a futuristic innovation that they want to build such large aircraft that will contain probably 3, 4, or 5 decks on top, of course, for passengers. They will be containing things like swimming pools and all those other things, the soccer pitch and all those things. So some of these things I feel like they are futuristic. I don't know how possible they are going to be. But anyway, that aside, when you look at large body freighters, basically they are not largest, and we might have not seen them in here due to some limitations we have, as we saw yesterday, some limitations that we have here to do with our infrastructure. Anyway, then we have another one which we call narrow body freighters. Narrow body freighters. This one also accommodates containerized and palletized freight on upper decks only, and are used primarily on domestic routes. This one, they accommodate containerized and palletized freight, but on upper decks only, and basically or mainly they are used in domestic operations, and mainly of course in those countries that are a bit more advanced. Then, apart from this one, we also have another type of cargo aircraft, and that is a feeder aircraft. These are feeder aircraft. Now, these feeder aircraft are always very small. They are small aircraft that will always feed the major aircraft. So, we are assuming that the narrow body freighters always operate in large airports, domestic airports. So in this case, we can talk about Kamuzu International Airport here, or Kireke International Airport, or whichever airport you may think of, but domestic airports. This is where the narrow body freighters are operating from, or the wide body freighters are operating from. But now, when it comes to the feeder aircraft, it means in that scenario, we may look at them as aircraft that will feed this one. So they can be operating from some other districts. They can be operating from Salima, they can be operating from Mango, they can be operating from Mujini. We are assuming that in Mujini we have those airports. In Salima or in Mango we have small airports. So these small aircraft, they are carrying cargo now from Mangoji. They are carrying cargo, whether it is in Somba from Salima, they are carrying Mpunga from Kuraboda, feeding these narrow body freighters. These now body freighters now will be taking the cargo to elsewhere, whichever destination that is there. So some courier companies, they have these feeder aircraft. For example, we have FedEx, we have DHL, and probably some others. Of course, even Amazon. But for Amazon, that one now they also have these large body freighters, or wide body freighters, or narrow body freighters. Why? Because even Amazon, they are now able to fly their cargo to distant destinations. But apart from this one, they also have the feeder aircraft. But as for express carriers, for example, FedEx and DHL, these ones, they have numerous of those small aircraft. Whenever they have a courier, they always carry them to the major aircraft of the proceeding. Welcome, Annabelle. Though you are late, but you are not late. So, welcome on board. Now, let us now take a look at the process of air freight. Let us take a look at the process of air freight. So, this air freight, the process is normally done in conjunction with some other methods of transportation as well. It is always done in conjunction with other modes of transportation. In this case, we have rail, we have maritime, and of course we have even road transportation. When you are operating air transportation, in the transportation of cargo, there are high chances that at some point you will have to collaborate with these other methods of transportation at some point to complete the journey, or else to start the journey. It may start with one mode of transportation, then get into air transportation, and probably proceed to another mode of transportation. So this one doesn't just work in isolation. Alright, so we are trying to now look at the process of air freight or air transportation. Anyway, when we are saying air freight, that is the shipment of our goods using air transportation. That's why probably we'll be interchanging using air transportation or air freight. Don't get confused. Now here, we are told that air freight or air transportation has grown steadily, has become more significant over the past decade for a number of reasons. It has become more prominent. It has grown so significantly over the past decade or so for various reasons. Why do you think this kind of transportation has grown this much over the past few decades? What can be some of the reasons? Speed. Okay. Somebody say speed. Yes.
Sorry for interruption.
Yeah, sure. Yes. All right. Yes, Anna, you wanted to say something? You were saying something? Okay. So, one of it is speed. What else do you think is going to be the reason why this industry has grown this much, apart from speed? Any idea, madam?
It goes to places where roads cannot travel. Like, for example, where continents are divided by water.
Okay. Alright, that is another important point as well. Of course, that one, that challenge probably was also solved by water transportation anyway. But still more, air transportation also comes under that one. Although air transportation says, oh, you have solved this problem, but you're too slow, I'll be too fast as well. So I'll cover that one. So that is still a point. And of course, there is what we call efficiency when it comes to the delivery of whatever is supposed to be delivered. Normally, when you're delivering by air transportation, the chances of getting the goods delivered in good condition are always very high as compared to the other modes of transportation. Here, we are not trying to say the other modes of transportation then they are not good because when you are transporting goods to reach in bad state, in bad condition. That's not it. But at least there is more efficiency. There is always utmost efficiency. So, in air freight, there are always some steps that need to be followed, and they should not, of course, not be skipped. They should not be jumped. And these steps must be taken by two major parties. We have an freight forwarder and we have a carrier. There are these two major players in this case. The freight forwarder, responsible for freight forwarding, and of course the carrier. That is, the consignor, or you, the owner of the consignment, is sitting somewhere there. Now we have to look at the role of these two parties. We are saying the freight forwarder and the carrier. Now, when we are saying the carrier, in this case, it's probably the airline, and it can be Ethiopian airline, or it can be Malawian airline, or whichever. How about the freight forwarder? Who is the freight forwarder, or what is freight forwarding? The freight forwarding, means whether it's an agent, right, who is doing this activity called freight forwarding. Then what is this freight forwarding? Any suggestions? Because I know some of you from here, you'll be joining those freight forwarders and doing all those operations there in Kanemo. You'll be doing those operations probably there in Kanemo. Because that's where most of these freight forwarding companies or organizations are based or are doing their operations. Basically, freight forwarders or freight forwarding organizations, these are organizations that organize the freight ready for shipment. These are the organizations or the institutions or the companies that organize, that handles your shipment ready for shipping. Now, the organization of these shipments takes a number of activities. So, we're going to look at those activities. So, all together, if you put them, then we say, whatever has happened here is now freight forwarding, is being done by freight forwarder. That person, that organization, that agency that does all those activities we are going to see here is now called a freight forwarder. So, if an organization, a firm or a company that organizes and handles shipments ready for shipping on behalf of the shipper or the consignor. He is a consignor, this guy sitting over there, or is a shipper, and he's trying to export his goods to Malaysia. Now, for the goods to be taken to Malaysia, there are a number of things that need to be done. Why? Because he has to take his goods to, let's say, to the airport, and of course, take them onto the aircraft, off they go. But before the goods are taken into the aircraft, there are a number of things that need to be done. They need to be packaged properly. They need to be labeled. And of course, he needs to book for a space in that aircraft. And he has to talk with those aircraft guys, whether they are discounts or whatever, they are there. He needs to do all these things. Now, all these tactics can always be done by a special individual, or maybe a specific individual or a specific agent doing on his behalf. So it's like that agent is doing all those processes we're talking about, assembling, labeling, packaging, and all those things on his behalf. Then he's booking the space on his behalf. By doing all those other ones, and of course there are some documentation processes that are also involved. He cannot do on his own. So this agent that is responsible for undertaking all these functions on his behalf to make sure that the goods have been taken on board, that is freight forwarding, and that one is a freight forwarder. Now, there are three major steps that are always taken by this freight forwarder. One is the assembling of shipments. Collecting the goods for consignee and preparing the packing materials and packing list is important. So, once the shipment is assembled, we move to the next step. This freight forwarder is based there at Kanemo, as we said. This guy is based here. But now his goods is intending to export elsewhere. What he needs to do, he has to find a way through which the goods can be taken to Kanemo, where the freight forwarder is based. So that is the responsibility of the freight forwarder, because he cannot carry the goods on his own. You have a question? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand or something. Okay. So the assembly and of course preparation of how to do the packing and the packaging of these things is done by this freight forwarder. Now, the next step is now the making of RFT. The making of RFT. RFT in this case in shipping industry is called ready for transport. The making of ready for transport, RFT. So it is also very important for you as a consignee, a consigner, or else the shipper, to make sure that at least your goods are packed and labeled accordingly. So we are saying this packing and labeling is done by this other agent that you will involve. Now, this agent that you involve is a freight forwarder. So, this is freight forwarder, interestingly, they also work using third parties. The freight forwarders, they also work using third parties, and these third parties are called agents. So, they are called forwarding agencies or the forwarding agents. Now, after the packaging of the materials to be shipped, the freight forwarder will always engage the services of a freight forwarding agent. Now, this is the third party we're talking about. This freight forwarding agent, his responsibility is to prepare required security documents and other required transportation documents in order for this consignment or this package to be sent wherever it is going. This one is done by an agent. So we find that for this consignment to leave this country and reach where it is intending to go, there are of course a number of parties that are involved. You, as the owner of this export, you are engaging the services of a freight forwarder, which is a company or an organization, to organize these things for you. This company organizes your goods, putting them together, assembling the goods together, packing, and of course labeling. After doing this, they engage the services of a third person. You are the first person, the freight forwarder is the second one, and they are engaging the services of the third person. And this third person is an agent. The role of this agent is now the processing of documentation, transportation documentation, and of course security documentation. Now the agent has finished his job. What next? The freight forwarder now has to book for the transportation or ordering for transportation. Now, whether it is to book for a space in the aircraft or whatever he does, he has to contact those ones. All these things that are being done here, they are done on behalf of you as the owner of the consignment. So, all these things, after the goods were packaged, after the goods were labeled, the documentation process was happening. Where were these goods stored? They are normally stored in the freight forwarder's warehouse. The goods will be kept in the freight forwarder's warehouse up until they are now taken to where they are supposed to go. At times, these freight forwarders, they have these warehouses closer to the airports, others even within the airport premises. So, after doing the packaging, after doing the labeling and everything, this freight forwarder can take the goods to his warehouse, either there by the name or else at the airport itself, where he or they have their storage facilities ready for transportation, actual transportation. So, from there, that's when he starts booking for space in an aircraft or any other carrier for the transportation of the goods. Now, the other step now that comes into play is that of forwarding out. We call it forwarding out. Now, what happens at this stage? When your goods are being exported, there are some steps again that are being done under this one, what we call forwarding out. The goods are picked up from the order receipt and given a POA, proof of acceptance. This proof of acceptance is issued by the airline now. So the airline will always issue this POA or POA upon inspecting the goods. And the goods, they are assured that the goods are safe and they are good for the flight, or they are ready for the flight. So, before actually they are taken into the cabin, into the aircraft itself, there are always what we call incoming checks. And these incoming checks are still done by the airline and of course the airport officials. So an incoming check is performed and sorted according to flight date for goods to be transported. This is happening here by the airport. Then there is another recheck of labeling errors, and the label is required and make necessary security declarations. The goods have been checked, and of course they have to be rechecked when it comes to labeling, making sure that there are no errors when the goods are being labeled. Are these labels corresponding really to the goods in question? If there are some errors, then they need to be relabeling, and of course some security declarations wherever necessary, and of course verification of relevant customs documentations and clearance for customs. Those documentations that were handled by the agent, the freight forwarding agent, they need to be rechecked and see that they are okay, they are fine, we are ready to go. Now, all those checks have been done and the clearance have always been done. The goods have been taken on board. Now, what next? We are now embarking on air transportation, and wherever the goods are being taken to, definitely they will have to be received by the receiver at that other end. Is either your customer at that other side or their representatives or those acting on his behalf. Mind you, here, when you were sending the items elsewhere, when you were trying to export, you did not do all these things by yourself. There was an organization, there was an agency that was responsible for handling this one, and it was the freight forwarder. It was the freight forwarder who took you through all these processes. He went through all these processes on your behalf. Similarly, there at the kind of destination, there must be also some agency to handle these ones on behalf of the receiver in that end. Now, as the goods are being taken to the destination, what are some of the things that need to be done in that end? There are some things that also need to be considered and need to be done there. One, preparation or prepare and plan for handling and storage of shipments based on confirmed bookings. The receiver that side should always be notified that at this particular day, the consignment from Malawi will be arriving. Now, where are we going to keep the consignment as it comes? How are we going to handle the consignment as it comes? Now, the next thing is perform incoming and administration checks. In case the goods have arrived, they need to be checked. They need to be verified if they really correspond with what is on the document. Mind, when the goods are being sent, the documents regarding the details of the goods are always sent in advance. So, as the goods are coming, they need to be cross-checked again against the documents that were already received before the goods came in. And of course, sort goods and documents accordingly. Perform outgoing and administration checks, and prepare for rapid transport and security checks, and of course, a lot more activities need to be done that other side. That is before the goods are released to the customer, released to the person who is supposed to be the receiver. So all these other checks, all these other steps are done by firms, organizations, agencies that are doing this stuff on behalf of that other person. And this organization in question here is also a freight forwarder. So this freight forwarder can either be the same one, the one who was handling stuff from this end, or else you engage the services of another freight forwarder in the country of destination. But these are not done by you yourself. Now, the goods haven't yet been received yet, but this freight forwarder on the other side was only preparing these things as we have seen. The preparation of the place to keep the stuff, the preparation of documentation, the preparation to do checks and verifications and all those things. That was under the first step of forwarding out. Now the goods are arriving. We have this other step that we call forwarding in. Forwarding out, that was Mwina Nchiro Yurumiza Katundu Chakwina on behalf of Uyu. Now this time around, Ndipulani Zana Katundu on behalf of the receiver. And this one we call it forwarding in. So, much as we know that importing goods via air transportation is considered to be convenient, but it is also complex. And being complex, it means it involves a number of processes that need to be followed carefully, step by step. So, the freight forwarder has been notified that the goods have arrived. There are a number of things that he needs now to do physically in the face of the goods that are there. So, the first thing is to pick up documents once notified by the airline and arrange for local pickup and transportation. He has been notified by the airline that the goods that you're waiting for are now here. This person has to arrange the documentation properly and of course arrange for local transportation to go and pick the stuff and of course deliver to where the goods are supposed to be delivered. Now when you are getting stuff from elsewhere, there are always what we call customs clearance processes. So you cannot just go there and get the stuff, off you go, just like that. There are all those clearance processes that need to be done. This person has to prepare customs documents, ending with clearance and printing the customs release note. That is the responsibility of this freight forwarder, but on behalf of the receiver. And arrange the delivery to the consignee with all relevant documentation and receive POD. Now, this POD has to be issued to this freight forwarder by the airline. Have you checked the card? Yes, you've checked the card. It's okay. Here is the proof of delivery. So, upon receiving this proof of delivery, it means that the airline is no longer responsible for whatever happens thereafter. Whatever happens to the goods, whether they will get damaged or they will get lost or whatsoever, since there has been this clearance and they have signed this POD, it means the airline is now free. Whatever happens, it is now in the hands of this freight forwarder. Now, the consignment has been taken to the recipient, the one who imported this stuff. What happens? There is this what we call the receiving of the consignment. The receiving of the consignment is again a process that is done between the freight forwarder and of course the owner of the consignment or the importer in this case. So, once the shipment has been received, the freight forwarder has to check all the number of goods, and if any visible damage can be identified, then he cannot sign and receive this POD, the proof of delivery, up until that problem has been rectified or the airline has accepted the responsibility over what has happened there. So, this is another important step that an freight forwarder has to do. Otherwise, if he receives this one and upon getting to the actual destination where the goods are supposed to be delivered to, then he will be very responsible. So if there are damages and all, it is him who is going to be answerable to the owner or the importer, not the airline. Why? Because he has the BOD with him, meaning that airline inapaswa kushiriki na relationship. I think chaongeka ndiyo. Now, him also, he has to provide this BOD to the recipient. Upon now taking the consignment to the premises of the recipient, and upon checking the goods that they are okay, they are in good condition, this one has also to produce a BOD and deliver it to the importer. This one also is a way of feeling himself that now I've delivered to you and everything is in order. So, before even leaving the premises, that's the freight forwarder, the goods need to be unpacked. So, unpack the goods and thoroughly check for any damages that may have occurred during the transportation. Check the goods with administration. That's another step that needs to be done also. So, count the present goods with the packing rate or the procurement order to verify any missing items. This should be done by the freight forwarder and the importer all together to make sure that everything is in order. Now, we are saying, initially when we were saying the freight forwarder is processing this and that ready for transportation, we mentioned this other individual. We said an agent, freight forwarding agent, and we said this one handles documentation, security documentation, and any other relevant documentations. This is what we said. But now, let's try to look at some of those documentations. What are they? Now we have common documents needed for air freight shipping. Okay, so depending on where the goods are being sent to and what classification of goods you are exporting, you may need some or all of the different forms of documents that we are going to discuss. Depending on where the goods are going, the classification of the goods or the nature of the goods, you as an exporter, or you may always need a number of documents. Some of the documents are like these ones. We have what we call a commercial invoice. So your shipping documentation should always include a commercial invoice. So what does this commercial invoice contain? This commercial invoice includes a detailed line-by-line description of every item in the shipment. It includes a detailed line-by-line description of every item in the shipment. So, apart from detailing all the items in the shipment, what else? It also lists the value of each item as well as a total value of the shipment. So, I think this one, it tells us that it is one of those most important documents because now, it details all the items that are there in the shipment and of course the value of each item and the total value of the entire shipment. What else is included in the commercial invoice? Apart from these details that you've seen, this invoice also includes basic information about the transaction, such as the name and address of the shipper and the seller, and the delivery and payment terms. These details also have to be included in that commercial invoice. So, the buyer now can use, alright, this commercial invoice, at times it also includes some basic information about the transaction. What basic information? Some of the basic information that can be contained in this one may include the name and address of the seller and the delivery and the payment terms. The buyer is the one who is now receiving the goods wherever at its destination can also use this commercial invoice to prove ownership of the goods that he has received or he is receiving. And at times, in some circumstances, some governments can also use this document to assess customs duties, or the government can use this document to assess customs duties. So that's the commercial invoice. Are we people matching together? Kevin?
Yes.
Are we matching together?
Yeah.
Are we? Okay. Eunice, are we in this match together? Okay. I'm not so sure if we are parading together with Annabelle. Are we? Serious? Are we kicking this ball together with you, Claudia? Alright, let's stop there. Up until next week, when we meet again. Anyway, but I'll share part of this one because this one is very long. So for me to finish it, then I share with you, it may be too late for you, but I will share with you. Okay, yes, sir.
Can you share some concentration?
Okay?
Terms of concentration for midterm exams?
Areas of concentration. I haven't explained it, but I will. Don't worry, I will that. That one is already known. So I can, but it's good to remind me, and actually keep reminding me. And on that one, listen. This question, this guy is bringing forward is, can I share with you areas of concentration? Then I'm saying no, I will do that. So, but when we announce, guys, let's meet this day and discuss, at least all of us will have to be there.
The next week is the next week.
Yeah, probably then next week or next week. So what I'll do, this one I'll share with you. But next week when we meet, after our discussion of that week, then I can always give you areas of discussion. Because it doesn't look good that some of you are not there, then I should be calling you, I should be texting you, no, we should, whatever it doesn't look good. But at least when all of us are here, it makes more sense. So up until then, let me wish you a good and blessed day. By the way, there are others who are struggling to access the assignment. Are you people also struggling with the same?
The board, I think the board is down.
The board is down. Who else is struggling? Or two of you, have you got it? Okay, you are lost. Okay, you try to check the board. But again, before or you read, I think try to see this guy, Tumbai. At least can also help. Because of course I'm hearing from some others also that are having problems accessing this portal. So we have a deadline because actually the deadline was supposed to be today, but if those signs are doing, it's going to be difficult. But before we have exams, at least all the assignments they need to be handed in and that at least marked, you know. So let's try to speed up things if we can.
So it's like the board is only consent to, I think,
yeah, as long as you have managed to
right, we can send it to you now.
yeah, you can always send my email and please have my email.
I think I already have.
You already have it, isn't it? Okay. I'll also maybe type it on that book so that those of you who don't have it, you can always. That is, if you're failing to access the board and submit it, you can just send it to have my email. Alright. Good for today. challenge.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.